I used to hate biology so much. I used to think that it was so uninteresting. Hey guys, Victoria here. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be sharing all my tips on how to get A+ in Biology SPM. The first tip that I have for you is to make good use of acronyms. Acronym is a very important study tool for all the subjects in general, but especially for biology. Acronyms literally saved my biology grade and made memorizing so many processes so much easier for me. I'll give you some examples of some of the acronyms I used back in the days when I was preparing for my SPM to give you a rough idea on how you can make good use of acronyms. The first example is that you can use this acronym, please stay back, to memorize the nucleotide structure. So you can use the P to memorize phosphate group, S for pentose sugar, and then back to memorize nitrogenous base. By just remembering the acronym please stay back, you can remember the structure of the nucleotide without any problem at all. The second example that I have for you is the way you memorize the process of respiration and photosynthesis. You can use this acronym WECGO to memorize for respiration. And then similarly for photosynthesis, it is just the opposite of respiration. So you can use WECGO to memorize the process of photosynthesis. The third example of acronyms is the way you memorize disaccharides and what monosaccharides they are made of. The three acronyms that I have for you for the disaccharides are sugar-free, Maggie, and Lady Guga. If you haven't learned the nutrition chapter yet, then you probably won't know about all those monosaccharides and disaccharides. But just come back to this video after you've learned those chapters and you realize that you can memorize those disaccharides so much easier with these acronyms. So yeah, I hope that these examples of acronyms that I gave you will give you a rough idea of how useful acronyms are when it comes to memorizing things in biology. The second tip that I have for you to score A+ in biology is that you have to not hate the subject. You don't have to like biology, but you have to make sure that you're not hating it. This is because hating a subject just makes it so difficult for you to revise. You feel like you're forced to read something and just memorize blindly. Back in Form 4, I used to hate biology so much. I just found the topics to be so uninteresting and there were so many things to memorize, and I guess I was intimidated by the amount of syllabus we had to cover. Thankfully, things got better for me in Form 5. I kind of started liking biology when I was in Form 5. Probably because the syllabus is more interesting, I'm not sure. But my advice to you is to stay open-minded about the subject and just remember that you're reading things that are related to you and all the things around you. And if you see the beauty in all those things, then you won't feel like studying biology is such a difficult task. If you still can't not hate biology, then just hold on until you're in Form 5 and then maybe you'll magically start liking it the way I did. My third point is regarding essay questions. As you know, the essay questions in biology contribute quite a lot of marks to the entire paper. So to do well in biology paper, you have to actually do well in essay. For essay questions, they will usually ask about the processes that are in the syllabus. To tackle essay questions, I suggest that you have a small notebook for biology. Whenever you come across a process when you're revising for biology, just write down that entire process in the small notebook. This is so that when you're revising for your finals or for your trials or for your SPM especially, you have all the essay questions listed down in one place. You don't have to scramble around looking for it, it's all there. And a little hint here, doing essay question is literally a brain dump. Like whatever you can think of regarding that topic, you just write it down without filtering it. Like don't be afraid that, oh, what if this is wrong? What if it's wrong? It's okay. Like if something is wrong, marks won't be deducted. But if you write something that is right, marks will be awarded. So whatever that pops up in your mind when you think of that topic, you can just write it down. Tip number 4 from me is past year questions. I think you and I are both aware of how important past year questions are. If you can manage to finish all the past year questions before SPM, then good job, you're doing well. But if you are watching this video when you're 2 weeks away from SPM and your past year question is still empty, you haven't tried anything yet, then don't even attempt to start on it. What I suggest doing instead is that you flip through to the answers and just read the answers and try to memorize as much things as you can from there. Tip number 5 is on calculation questions. So there are few calculations in biology, Form 4 and Form 5, and when calculation questions come up, it's literally like bonus mark. You just have to get it. Because the formula that you have to apply to get the answer is like the same. You just have to memorize the formula and then you can answer the questions. So make sure that you do not get wrong on calculation questions, whether in paper 1 or paper 2. Remember that small notebook that I suggested you use for essay questions and all the processes in biology? Well, you can flip that notebook to the last page and then there you can write down all the formulas for calculations. There are just a few and just make sure that you know all the formulas by heart. This way, when calculation questions come out, you can be sure to nail them. Tip number 6 is on the answering technique for paper 2. The way I answer paper 2 is that I answer the questions that I know, and whenever I come across something that I don't know, I just skip the question without thinking twice. I just skip it, and then when I reach to the end of the paper, I come back to revisit all the questions that I didn't know. This answering technique can save you a lot of time, and it will save you a lot of stress as well. There were countless times in exam when I couldn't answer a question and then I got so stressed out. I spent about 5 minutes thinking about it and then I just give up. I go on to the next question, and then after finish the entire paper, I come back to it and I magically know how to do it. It's possible that our brains find it rather difficult to remember something or to do something under stressful situations. So we are just over there thinking about the questions and then we are worrying about all the questions that we haven't answered yet, and then we are worrying is there enough time to finish the entire paper. So although we might know how to do that certain question, but our brain just couldn't recall it because there's too much stress. So you know what? Don't waste any time dwelling on a question that you don't know. You just skip it without thinking twice, and then when you've done the entire paper and you are sure that you've answered all the questions that you can, you come back and then you think about it. Like if you flip open the question paper and then on the first page itself, you don't know how to answer that question and then you get super stressed out, it will literally affect your emotion for the whole paper. But then chances are the only question you don't know is the first question and you're spending so much time stressing about it. So instead of doing that, just move on, flip on to the next page and then attempt all the other questions before coming back to the questions that you don't know. Tip number 7 is the way I memorize all the long words and terms in biology. I remember this one time in Form 4 when I went to my first tuition class for biology, and then my tuition teacher asked me to memorize deoxyribonucleic acid, which is the long form for DNA. I remember being so intimidated by that long word, like how can someone possibly memorize it? But thankfully, the long words in biology is usually made up of a lot of small words that we already know. They just make it combine every single thing into one long word that scares us. So what I do to memorize these kind of long words is that I write down on a paper again and again. I write down that word again and again, like deoxyribonucleic acid, deoxyribonucleic acid. And then I come back around 10 minutes later and I try to write that word. If I still couldn't get the spelling right, then I just repeat the process of writing it again and again. When we write a word again and again, our brain is actually becoming more familiar with that word, so it won't feel like something foreign anymore and we can remember the long word easily. So that's all the tips I have for Biology SPM paper. I hope you found these tips helpful. Also, did you find those acronyms helpful? Because I have a lot more of them and I can share more acronyms with you guys if they seem to help you. You can like this video and hit the subscribe button for more videos from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.